Hi, I'm Roamy from Southeast Slings. Today I'm going to show you how to do a front wrap cross carry with a woven wrap to carry a newborn. So here I've got a size 6 woven wrap. This is an Oscha carrier. Now this carrier has got two different colours at either end and either width of it, which actually really helps when you're learning to carry, having two different colours, because then you can see which edge you're pulling on. So with the front wrap cross carry, I'm going to hold it with the middle marker, which is this little marker here. Hold this centrally and wrap the fabric around me a bit like a towel. So this is coming all the way around my waist to the opposite side. And then I'm going to bring the piece of fabric that's behind my elbow and over my shoulder. So I've got a diagonal line going across. Now it's important to always hold it by the top edge, because then you know it hasn't twisted. And I can see here that this top edge here, which is the dark blue, is also still on the top, right, because it's closest to my neck. So I'm going to just gather the fabric up onto my shoulder here. Then I'm going to do exactly the same with the other side. So stretch the fabric out around my waist, behind my elbow and over my shoulder, like that. Okay, so the colour of the material here will match the colour here and here, because then you know it's not all twisted. Right, I'm going to gather the material up here so it's all in a band, and just slide any slack ground behind, so you can see there's different amounts of looseness here. And then I'm going to tighten it up by taking hold of the outside edge, bringing it up and forwards over my shoulders, like this. So you want to evenly tighten up that band, so all the material is the same tightness going around. Okay, so if you look on the back, that's all the same tightness. Now I'm going to make a little bit of space in here, just enough to fit my baby's legs through. Then I'm going to pick up my baby. So with a newborn, they generally will have their little legs tucked up at hip width apart, so the carrier is going to be supporting them in that position. So I'm going to rest them on one shoulder, and with the other hand I'm going to put my hand through the material and gently lower their legs through the fabric. Then I'm going to lower them down so they're sat with their bottom lower than their knees, hooked over the band of the fabric, so just supporting them in the position they're naturally curled up in when you're holding them on your chest. So got their knees hip width apart, with the fabric hooked into their knee pits and their bottom coming down over the edge. Support them with one hand, because obviously the fabric's not tied up yet. You're going to just take hold of that top edge, so if you remember that's the darker one. Take hold of your top edge and just ease it up over their bottom like this. So it goes just over their bottom. Now make sure they're still sat with their bottom lower than their knees. Put your hand under the fabric to stop it coming up too fast, and just very gently bring it up. Now with an older baby you can have the fabric up to their armpits, but with a newborn you want it to come to the nape of their neck to make sure their head and back are fully supported. So I've brought the fabric up to the nape of their neck. Now you'll see that it's a little bit loose around here, so what we're going to do is we're going to tighten the fabric up one side at a time. So hold your baby with one hand and then take hold of this top seam over here. Okay, now to tighten it up, if you take the fabric behind you and bring it up to tighten. The reason for doing that is if you just pull it from here, you've got an awful lot of corners to go around for the fabric and it won't move very easily. If you bring it up behind you, it's much easier to tighten it. So lift that up to tighten up that top edge. Then pass that piece of fabric to your thumb of the opposite hand. Then you're going to tighten up a little bit at a time, just by sliding the fabric from behind your shoulder up and forwards like this, until it's all evenly tight. Take hold of it with this hand like this, and then support your baby with that hand, but keep your thumb free so you're ready to take the fabric from this side. We're going to do exactly the same on this side. So take this top seam and you're going to take the fabric behind you to tighten that edge up. Pass this to your thumb and do exactly the same with each piece from there. So the more sections you do it in, the more accurately it'll be tightened, but obviously the longer it'll take. So if you're wanting to do it quickly, obviously do it in a few less sections. If you're wanting to do it really accurately, because you're going to be wearing the carrier for a long time, then obviously take a bit more time over it and do it section by section. Right, we've got both of these done up now. Now you want to make sure that yours is nice and snug behind your baby. So if you hold both of these with one hand, Rest your hand on the back of baby's head and gently lean forwards. You want to ensure their body doesn't pull away from you. If it does, then obviously just feed some more of the slack around. Now from this position, you've got a number of options. We're going to cross this underneath baby's bottom. Now you can either pass this under their little feet and bring it round behind, but if they're very small, you may find that's a bit too much fabric. So what you can do, bring it underneath their bottom and just give a couple of little twists like this. What this will do is it will just bring the fabric a little bit further away. Then you can bring it round behind like this and do it in a double knot behind you. So it's entirely up to you what you want to do. It very much depends on the size of your baby and how spread their legs are. So I've got that in a double knot. Make sure this is sitting nicely around either side of the baby. Now, most important thing with any carrier is you can see baby's face and they've got clear airways. You also want to check they're held as tightly as a cuddle in arms. So you can check that by resting your hand on their head and leaning forward like we did earlier, or just simply put your arms around them, and if you feel like you need to lift them in order to hold them securely, then they're a bit loose. If they feel nice and snug and they've got clear airways, you know that they're safe. Position wise, ideally you want to have their bottom lower than or level with their knees at hip width apart. If you find they've gone a bit straight, just take hold of their thighs and just lean forward and give a little tilt to bring their knees up and curve their bottom around, and you can bring the fabric round to support them in that position. And that's how to put a baby into a woven wrap in a front wrap cross carry. Now to get them out, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can either undo the whole thing, or if you need to get them out quickly so they fill the nappy, or you just want to get them out for feeding, you can just very gently ease this down over their bottom and back. Take hold of your baby and then lift them out. Now you will need to loosen it again to put them back in, but that's a nice quick and easy way to get baby out. Hope that's helpful.